I'm Jared Haynes, and this is Rogue Outdoors. Today I'm excited to talk to you about the coolest three-piece takedown longbow on the market, and that's the Stickman Stickbow Sentinel. To start this video off, we're going to talk about the Sentinel's specs and build materials. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the price, and then we're going to go ahead and go out to the range and shoot some arrows. Now let's dive into this Sentinel's specs. So this bow is going to be 62 inches overall length, and I've got it in a 45 pound at 27 inches of draw, which typically I like more around a 41 to 42 pound draw. When I get over that, because of breaking my elbow a few years ago, I get a little shaky. However, the way that Andy has designed these limbs, I'm able to pull this 45 pounds and get incredible bow speed off of this, and we'll talk about, the speed and some performance stuff once we get out to the range. But I'm able to pull that weight just fine on this longbow, which is really, really impressive to me. It's got a beautiful matte finish on here. So this matte finish is very interesting to me. There's other companies that do like this kind of a frost coating, but the way that Andy does this, it allows the colors of the bow and the wood grain to still come through really, really well while providing a really good solid grip feel. So my hand doesn't feel like it's sliding all over the place. It helps lock you in. Now we're talking about that grip feel. As you can see here, this bow has a really prominent back strap on here going down to this peak. And then it's got a really good thumb locator over here on the side. Now, I love Dan Toelke longbows and have always loved the thumb locator, but this kind of takes it the extra step farther. You've got this great flat back strap, which really locks your hand into it, and then that thumb locator holds you tight. So when you're at full draw, this bow is not going anywhere. And then I also love just the design of it. It's a very individual design, and I'm just super impressed with the grip, both the way it looks and feels, and then the matte finish combination with it is awesome. This is obviously a three-piece takedown, so you have the riser section right here, and then the two screws. Fits together great, took it out of the package that it comes in, and it just clicks in, boom, boom, super fast and easy. So really impressed with the way that that works. And then I wanted to talk to you just a little bit about the weight of the bow itself. Now, this wasn't like a scientific weight. I didn't weigh the bow just by itself because I don't have a scale that really does that. So I jumped on a scale holding it and then got off and put the bow down, got back on the scale. And it came out to 2 pounds for the overall weight. I'm sure it could be plus or minus, just a hair, but 2 pounds on a three-piece takedown like this is, in my opinion, a perfect weight. This thing sits in your hand enough that if you're out getting some gusts of winds, you don't feel like you're blowing all over the place with that front hand. However, it's still really on that light end side where you can pack this way back into the country if you wanted to, or just for walking around and doing fun target shooting. Your arm doesn't get tired, packing around a heavy boat. So I really, really like the full combination of all the specs on this. Now let's jump into the build materials. Now for the build materials, I asked Andy if he would be willing to work with some Osage, and he was like, yeah, let me see what I can do. I just envisioned his riser design with this beautiful yellow Osage mixed in there, and boy did he not disappoint. This thing is absolutely beautiful. So it's Osage on the riser in this section of the limb. You've got myrtle right here, and as an accent as it runs through, and that myrtle is beautiful. He says it's from the Oregon coast, and it's a really, really dark myrtle that he used on here. You have black micarta, and then for this little inlay section right here, I gotta look at my note, it's black palm and maple. This combination together provided a beautiful aesthetic. The way that he's able to take the limb veneers and splice them, and has this beautiful line that runs through. You can tell Andy previously, before making bows, was a high-end finish work person for construction, and you can definitely tell that. This thing has both performance aspects with the way that he designed these limbs and the riser to work performance-wise, as well as aesthetics. So when he blends these materials, you can really tell that this is someone who did high-end crafts work before, you know, getting into the bow world. So you will not be disappointed with just the lines, the geometry, the way that he puts these pieces of wood together is just absolutely beautiful and top-notch. The last topic that we're going to cover before going out to the range is the price category. So the Sentinel is going to come in right around that $1,100 price. So for a custom-made, just beautiful work of art like this is, that's definitely actually on the lower end. So it runs below like some of the Black Widow bows and other companies like that. However, it's more expensive than just obviously a generic bow off the shelf, something like a Bear traditional bow. So I think it fits in a perfect price range. However, there's a couple things about the Stickman Stickbow package and experience that I want to share that to me makes this quite the value. So the bow comes with a really good string. Like I said, all the craftsmanship, the splicing and the limb veneers, just everything is really, really well done. But set this bow up here. When you get the package, what you don't get with pretty much every other company or any other company really that I've seen is a bow case like this. So obviously I'm blocking myself out here, but I'm gonna hold this up. This is a handmade, hand-sewn bow case that has perfect to fit pockets. If I hold this up, there's a perfect riser pocket, there's 2 limb pockets, and then you get in the package your string with some information on that, then Andy's name, phone number, the Allen key, and then obviously the bolts would be in this string. And there's a pocket specifically for that in here. So you get an extremely well-made, like quality case with the package of this bow. And so I think when you combine the bow with a case that you're gonna be looking at, you know, $60 to $100 to have to buy when you buy most every other bow company's bow, it comes just in, you know, some bubble wrap or usually a pretty cheap arrow sock or something, and then a cardboard box. Well, that's not what I'm gonna put it into my pack to go hunting with. This comes with an actual usable high-end custom to this bow case. So I think the experience that Andy provides with the Stickman Stickbows is just phenomenal. The price to me is something that's easily justifiable, that's a beautiful work of art and a beautiful package. Now let's head out to the range and shoot our 5 arrows and cover our 5 topics, and then we'll wrap this video up. So the first topic that I want to cover is going to be the arrow tune and speed. So I found with this bow, typically, like I said, I'm about a 41 to 42 pound bow, and I'm usually anywhere from a 6 to a 500 spine. Well, this bow shoots really, really fast and hits hard on the target, and I'm actually upping that spine to a 400, and I could probably even get away with a 340 depending upon, you know, the combination of inserts and that kind of stuff. But right now I'm finding an Easton Axis traditional with a 100 grain brass insert, 175 up front, cut at 28 3/4, is just flying pretty phenomenal off of this. And I also found that I'm shooting about 10 feet per second faster than some other comparable recurves or longbows that I have. This thing really kicks out the speed. With this arrow combination and my draw length, I chronographed it the other day with these arrows, and I was shooting 168 feet per second. So let's go ahead and throw one down here at 20. Okay, and then let's get to that next topic. The second topic that I want to cover is going to be the sound signature on this bow. So the way Andy designed these reflex deflex longbow limbs, and then the riser in combination with the mercury string material he makes, gives a pretty quiet sound signature when you're shooting compared to some other longbows that can really get that higher pitched twang. But originally, when you get this, he has one cat whisker on there, and it does have a little bit of a twang. I'm going to show you a clip right now. where you can hear that. But I switch all of my bows over now to these lightning puffs. So a buddy of mine here in Shelton, Washington makes these lightning puffs, and they are out of merino wool that his sister actually grows. It's all US made, dyed here, and because of the weight and the water resistance, natural water resistance that the merino wool has, they work great for hunting, but because of the weight, you can actually run 4 for the price of the 2 normal little string leeches like what came on there originally. So I'm going to show another clip right now of me just kind of plucking the string with the lightning puffs and then with the original stock ones so you can hear it, and then we're going to throw the arrow down there and you can hear it also being shot. Now let's go ahead and shoot that arrow down there that you've had that side-by-side comparison. And you'll kind of hear, but these really deaden down and give a little bit more, they take away that longbow twang and give it a little bit more of a thud, which I really like. Subject number 2, sound. Topic number 3 is going to be the grip. So I talked about it a little bit inside, but I absolutely love this grip. It's everything I love out of like a Tolkien longbow grip, but then really jets out down here to give me that arched feeling. So I've sprained my wrists in the past, and so typical longbows, you're holding it straight up and down, your wrist really gets bent back. This allows me to, more like my Black Widow PMA, get my wrist into the bow. It straightens it out a lot more, so it takes a lot of that feeling off of my wrist being pressured back, and I really like how it lets you get into the grip that way. With the thumb locator and that straight, it just locks in nice and tight. So when I shoot this, you'll notice the bow with just very little pressure from the front is not wiggling all over the place. I'm able to really lock in here, and the bow just stays locked into my hand really well. So topic number 3 is going to be that grip. Topic number 4, we're going to be talking about that draw cycle on the Stickman Stickbow Sentinel, as well as the in-hand feel when you shoot. So draw cycle wise, longbows I typically have a love-hate relationship with because they're a lot stiffer than certain recurves that I've shot. I love my Black Widow PMA draw cycle. It just kind of like sets into the weight really well. And if you watch a video of me when I did the review on the Black Widow longbow that I did a few months back, that one's at 41 pounds, I believe, if I remember right, and my arm has a little bit of a shake to it. And this, when I saw Andy was sending me the 45-pound version, I was like, wow, it's kind of a little higher than I typically like. Well, I've been able to shoot this no problem. The draw cycle is still like a longbow draw cycle where you feel the weight a little bit heavier than like a recurve. It just kind of settles in. But this isn't overwhelming at all. This, to me, feels like other companies' 40-pound longbows, but I'm shooting it at 45 pounds, and I'm getting the speed of a 45-pound longbow for sure. I mean, it kicks them out there really well. So I love the draw cycle, and then the shot feel in hand once you get through the shot. Let's go ahead and throw this. Is really dead in hand. I mean, the vibration in this thing is like next to nothing. I love it. Part of that, the 4 lightning puffs do help, but the way Andy designed these limb angles and the way the grip has some mass right around the palm of your hand, but then is like nice and thin in other areas to keep the weight down, just makes this shot feel and draw cycle combination amazing. And the last topic that I wanted to cover is going to be usability. So by that, what I mean is, you know, how heavy is the bow? Does it pack down? Is it a pain in the butt to pack down and put back together? Just the whole package kind of all together. So at that about 2 pounds, this thing is really, really light. So backcountry hunting, this is a great, great option. Being able to take it apart really easily with just the Allen bolt. It's not toolless, obviously, but I use a stringer anyways, so no matter what, I'm going to be bringing a stringer, and just having that one Allen key is not a big deal. Being able to pack it down really small is also a really nice feature. But then on the flip side, you have good weight with this. And that's another important key feature, is the weight on the bow sits in the hand. So having these two bolts positioned the way they are, and then this mass where the thumb jets out kind of right at the hand, really creates a good weight to hold that shot steady. So let me throw this arrow, but usability on this is awesome. I mean, I can use this for competition shooting as well as coming out and hunting. It just fits well for whatever you're trying to use it for. All right, let's go up to the target, look at those arrows, and finish this video out. The Stickman Stickbow Sentinel has been one of my absolute favorite longbows I've ever shot. That grip angle, I absolutely love. There's not a lot of longbows that let you really get that grip in there and not have your wrist bent back. And for me, that's a big deal. The draw cycle on this is really, really awesome. You're getting crazy speed in comparison to other longbows that I've shot, and being able to hold that weight out there with the way Andy has designed his reflex deflex limb makes it to where I can shoot that higher poundage, get about at this arrow setup I have a point on of about 33.5 yards, which is perfect. I just really like that package. Then the other add-on to that is you're getting a beautiful bow case when you buy this, something you're not gonna have to go out and purchase, you know, some separate case to be able to take this into the backcountry or just keep it, you know, once you take it all down for transport. And Andy himself is really, like I said, willing to talk to you, work through any arrow setups, you know, bounce ideas off of him. It's just, he's a really, really good guy to work with as a boyer. Some are not as responsive, I would say, as Andy is. So he's a great person to work with when it comes to that. So if you haven't checked out a Stickman Stickbow before, I would definitely recommend go onto his website, give him a call, find out a show that he's gonna be at, and try and get your hands on one. Because even though he's newer into selling bows, these are one of the absolute best bows I think you can buy. Andy lives pretty close to Dan Tolke and the Tolke Bow Shop, and so he's learned a lot, and Dan has shared a lot of information in the laminating process and the gluing process, and you know, some of the finishing details that can really make or break a bow. So when it comes to that aspect of the bows, Andy is leaps and bounds ahead of a newer boyer. And then when it comes to all the finish stuff and the design, Andy has really taken parts from all sorts of bows, really, you know, made this his own design and kind of taken the best aspects that he liked out of a lot of different designs and combined them into one to make an awesome package. So I hope you liked this video. I hope this review gave you some ideas about maybe if a Stickman Stickbow is right for you. If it did, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel for more content like this coming out soon. Thank you for watching.